Well, I am at the magnificent chateau of Alexis de Tocqueville in Tocqueville, Normandy. Tocqueville is a small, tiny town in Upper Normandy, which is on the far northwest coast of France. And it's incredible to be here. Not only is Normandy exceptionally beautiful, but the chateau is just exquisite. Normandy is known for getting lots of rain, and it's luscious green grass and gardens, and also cows and the three C's. Calvados, the brandy, the apple-based brandy, cider, of course, hard cider, and camembert, because of all, and of course amazing Norman butter, which is not a C, but also incredible from this region. Best butter I've ever had in my life. And you can certainly see the lush greenness all around me in these beautiful gardens at the chateau that Tocqueville's English wife created. They're an English-style garden. Funny that they were in France, but they're just absolutely beautiful. And I'll tell you a little bit about the chateau where we are. This chateau dates back to the 1500s, and Alexis de Tocqueville actually wasn't supposed to live here. He was the youngest of three sons, and instead he was supposed to inherit another piece of property, but he really wanted this home because it was very elegant and stately, and he wanted to go into public office. Amazingly, he wrote Democracy in America, arguably the best book on democracy and the best book on America. He visited America when he was 25 and actually wrote the book a few years later when he was in his 30s. And he wrote part of it right here in this chateau because he negotiated with his brother to trade estates with him so that he could have a more stately one to entertain that was appropriate to his desire to go into public office. And so it's interesting, from his desire to have this more traditional stately family home, we see that he valued tradition. He kind of was a dispositional conservative at heart. Yet we also know he married an English woman that his family never really approved of. So he was willing to depart from tradition when it was necessary, when he saw it fit to do so. And they had, by all accounts, a wonderful marriage. They didn't have any children, but had an absolutely wonderful, intellectually vibrant marriage. And he ended up dying of tuberculosis and died in the south of France trying to recover from tuberculosis. He had some pretty bad health later in life. But it's great, amazing to be in the footsteps of this incredible, observant, astute political thinker and theorist in the chateau, on the grounds that he stood in. And you can actually stay in the tower. Right here, the family rents out the tower to guests, so you can actually come and stay here at the beautiful Tocqueville Chateau in Normandy, which I encourage you to do. Now, come on in. I'm going to give you a little tour of inside the chateau. So here we are, entering the front door of the chateau, and this is the beautiful foyer area. There was a fire, unfortunately, in the 1950s that destroyed much of the center of the chateau. So this part's a rebuild. A lot of the wood paneling would be a rebuild. Here you can see coats of arms from all of the families that married into the Tocqueville family from the 1380s onward. And it's interesting, my husband and I were listening to a lecture on the history of the Norman region on our drive here, and we learned that the Tocqueville family actually traces its lineage back to the days of William the Conqueror. We know him from conquering England and departing from the shores of Normandy just off just 8 minutes from where we're standing right now in Tocqueville. So let's go into one of the great halls. You're in the first parlor of the beautiful Tocqueville Chateau. And behind me is a portrait of Alexis de Tocqueville's father. And standing, you can see young Tocqueville learning and maybe taking notes from his father right behind him. And so the Tocqueville family and Alexis is very much seeped throughout this house and this room with portraits and busts. So take a look around the room and take it all in. It's absolutely magnificent. Now let's go back into the Great Hall to the dining room. This is where my husband and I and our son have been staying with the Tocquevilles for the last few days, and this is where we've been eating all of our meals, a really majestic place to dine and relax. This fireplace is actually original to the house from the 1500s. However, it used to be in another part of the house. They were able to move it incredibly, and it's got some inscribed in it biblical stories of Solomon, the fireplace, throughout it. It's really lovely. Back into the Great Hall and up to the first tower. This incredible staircase. You really feel like you're stepping back in time, going up these stairs. Portraits of relatives throughout. And here we are on the first floor, where we will find Alexis de Tocqueville's bedroom. So we're here now in Alexis de Tocqueville's bedroom, which is absolutely incredible. It's amazing to think of him kind of sleeping on the ideas that he wrote about in Democracy in America while writing about them down in the study down the hall, which we'll visit in a second. One of the ideas in Democracy in America that means the most to me, and is arguably the most important insight he had about American democracy, was that it was supported by not just the institutions of democracy, but by the habits, norms, and mores of its people, and civic associations, the propensity that Americans had to join together and solve problems, and not just wait for the government to jump in and resolve challenges. That those were the incubators of the habits of citizenship, the norms of citizenship that supported a democracy. And it's been really a privilege as a Novak Fellow to research some instances of that Tocquevillian spirit of association being alive and well in America today. During the pandemic, there was so much need in America that no single politician or government policy was able to resolve all of the human need that all of a sudden overwhelmed everyone. And we saw people rise to the occasion, delivering meals, delivering groceries, and just innovating in ways that were essential and important to helping their fellow Americans, fellow citizens. So despite recent decades seeing lots of political scientists and thinkers and authors writing about the decline of civil society, this Tocquevillian vision of this important institution that supports American democracy, maybe we have a little bit of reason to hope that the American civic life is still alive, and that we can each be a part of building it and rebuilding it. So here we are in Tocqueville's study. It's absolutely beautiful place, wood-paneled, gorgeous fireplace. And this is where he did some seminal thinking and writing. Here I have in my hand the very first French printing of Democracy in America, published in 1835, volumes 1 and 2. It's really incredible to be holding this historic document in this historic room that he walked in himself. And then here I have, this is part of the family's collection of archives. This is his original notes and the original handwritten manuscript of Democracy in America. And you can see here how he did his writing and thinking. He liked to write on one side of the page and then take notes on the other. And it's just really exceptional to be able to look at some of these insights and famous quotes, astute observations about the promise, but also the possible pitfalls of democracy in his own hand, in his study. It's just incredible, extraordinary to be here.